All right, strap in everyone, because today we are going deep on Agile frameworks.
You guys sent in a ton of great stuff on this.
So many paths to Agile success.
Like a choose your own adventure novel almost.
Well, that's why we're here to help make sense of it all.
We'll break it all down, look at what's popular.
And how the big companies are actually putting these frameworks to work and walk away feeling like a true Agile pro. But before we get into the nitty gritty, let's just level set for a sec. Could you give us like the quick Agile 101? What does it even mean?
Agile, at its heart, it's all about responding to change. Embracing change, really.
Phrasing it, yeah.
You have to be flexible, and iterative development is key. The biggest thing with Agile is keeping the customer front and center.
It's not just a buzzword, it's a whole philosophy.
A way of working.
All right, let's get specific then. Starting with Scrum, which always seems to be the one everyone talks about.
It's popular for a reason.
One thing that stood out to me, Google uses Scrum.
Huh.
And they are all about that user experience.
Makes sense when you think about it.
Right.
I mean, Google's constantly updating those search algorithms, right? That's Scrum in action, all about those short cycles, constant learning and adapting to what users need.
So like those 2-week sprints you hear about in Scrum, teams focused on specific tasks.
Keeps everyone on track and moving.
And then you got those retrospectives
Where
everyone takes time to like reflect on what went well,
yeah,
what could be better.
that's where the continuous improvement happens.
So it's not just about working in bursts. It's about constantly evaluating.
And those daily stand-up meetings are key too, you know?
Yeah, where everyone shares what they're working on.
Exactly. What roadblocks they're hitting.
Keeps everyone in the loop.
Help spot those issues early on.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal of Scrum, especially for a fast-paced environment like Google.
For sure.
Speaking of adapting, Spotify also uses Scrum,
So-
right?
They do.
But with their own spin on it.
They're squads.
Yes, it's not just cookie cutter Scrum. They've made it their own.
Right. Those squads are like little self-organizing teams.
Super independent.
Yeah, almost like mini startups within the company. Each squad owns a particular feature or area of the product.
So you're not just choosing an Agile framework, you're choosing how to use it.
You got to tailor it to your needs. Moving on from Scrum.
Let's talk about Kanban, which seems totally different. It's all about visualizing your workflow.
Like a giant to-do list come to life. Imagine a big board with columns for all the different stages of a project.
Like to do in progress.
Exactly. Done.
Oh.
And the tasks move across as work gets done.
So everyone can see what's going on.
Total transparency.
And you're not just adding more and more.
That's where limiting work in progress comes in. It's about finishing tasks before taking on new ones.
Keeping things flowing smoothly.
And avoiding the chaos of multitasking.
I'm all about avoiding chaos.
And what's interesting about Kanban, it didn't come from software development.
Really? Where'd it come from then?
Toyota's manufacturing system.
Whoa, from building cars to building software.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
A system that helps make some of the most reliable cars in the world.
Clearly works.
And it's being used for software too. Look at Microsoft's Azure DevOps platform.
Okay, that's a serious endorsement.
For sure.
Tried and true Kanban.
You got it.
All right, we've done sprints. We've done visual workflows. How about extreme programming or XP?
This one sounds intense.
It's all about the code.
The practices like test-driven development,
TDD.
pair programming.
It's all about building high-quality software.
Rigorous stuff.
With TDD, you write tests for the software before you even write the code.
It's like building a safety net before you even step on the tightrope.
Quality and reliability are baked in from the start.
Exactly.
And with pair programming, you've got two developers working side by side.
Yeah.
It's like a built-in code review happening live.
Real-time collaboration.
Intense, but it seems to work.
Works really well.
We're talking about companies like IBM and Ford using XP.
For mission-critical stuff too.
And they've also got continuous integration with XP.
Right. Code changes are constantly being merged and tested.
Keeping everything running smoothly.
Exactly. Minimizes those integration nightmares.
Makes sense?
From self-driving cars to enterprise software.
XP's got a place.
It's a powerful approach.
Okay, let's shift gears again. How about lean software development?
This one's all about efficiency.
Cut the fat, maximize value.
Eliminate anything that doesn't add value for the customer.
Does this feature spark joy?
No. Toss it.
The focus is on delivering value to the customer as quickly as possible.
And you know where lean software development comes from?
Tell me.
Lean manufacturing principles.
Back to Toyota again.
Maximizing value, minimizing waste.
Makes sense.
And companies like Intel, Ericsson, John Deere, they've all embraced lean.
From cars to computer chips to tractors.
It's a versatile philosophy.
I'm starting to see why Agile is so popular.
It's about delivering value, being flexible, and constantly improving.
It's a theme for sure.
As we look at more frameworks, you'll see even more common threads. How about
Safe,
scaled Agile framework?
that sounds pretty intense. Scaled Agile framework.
This one's for the big players.
The companies with massive projects,
Tons of teams.
huge teams, yeah.
SAFe is like the conductor of an orchestra, brings order to large-scale Agile.
Keeping everyone in sync.
Imagine Airbus building a new airplane, multiple teams all working together.
So how does Safe even do that?
One key element is
PI planning.
program increment planning. All the teams come together, plan out their work.
Like for the next few months or something?
Yeah, exactly.
So everyone's literally on the same page.
Working from the same roadmap.
The ultimate antidote to chaos. We're talking about companies like Airbus, Philips, American Express using Safe.
They're dealing with projects that involve hundreds, sometimes thousands
The people.
SAFe provides the structure to manage that complexity.
And keep everyone moving in the same direction.
It's not about micromanaging. It's
Yeah.
about having a framework for collaboration
On a massive scale.
from massive projects with SAFe.
To something called Crystal, which sounds a bit more, I don't know, free-flowing.
Crystal is all about recognizing that one size doesn't fit all in Agile. It's a family of frameworks.
Oh, interesting.
You've got Crystal Clear, Crystal Orange.
So there are different flavors of Crystal.
Yeah, each tailored to different team sizes and project complexity.
So you pick the version of Crystal that suits your needs.
Exactly. Find the right fit.
Flexibility seems to be a recurring theme here.
It's all about adapting.
Okay, from adaptable Crystal
To DSDM,
DSDM.
the Dynamic Systems Development Method. It emphasizes iterative delivery,
Okay.
time boxing, and active user involvement.
So still iterative, but with more structure.
DSDM is about delivering value quickly and frequently. And time boxing means work is divided into fixed time periods.
So you focus on getting the most important features done within that time box.
Exactly. And active user involvement is crucial.
You want to build something people actually need, right?
You got it.
To prioritize those features.
DSDM uses the Moscow method.
Moscow, like the city in Russia.
Not quite. It stands for must have, should have, could have, won't have.
Oh, I see.
Helps you categorize and prioritize features. Companies like BT Group, British Airways, HSBC, they use DSDM,
All managing complex projects, I see.
where prioritization is key.
Makes sense.
From DSDM.
To something called feature-driven development, or FDD.
This one's pretty self-explanatory.
It's all about the features, right?
The project is broken down into small features.
Each one delivers a specific value to the user.
You build them one by one, iteratively.
Like building a house, room by room.
A great analogy.
Companies like United Health Group and JP Morgan Chase.
Software that directly impacts their customers.
So delivering value incrementally is super important.
Next up, we've got the Agile Unified Process.
AUP.
It's like a streamlined, agile version of
OUP.
the rational unified process. RUP was known for being very comprehensive.
Maybe even a bit heavy.
AUP takes the best parts of RUP,
And adds that agile twist.
makes it more lightweight.
And adaptable.
And it's a hit in industries where reliability is everything.
Like,
NASA, Boeing.
yeah, those are some high-stakes projects.
Imagine the software that controls a spacecraft or an airplane.
Can't have any glitches there.
AUP's focus on iterative development and continuous feedback.
Makes it super robust.
Last but not least, we've got the hybrid approaches. Scrum is a great example.
Blending Scrum and Kanban.
It's all about recognizing that Agile isn't one size fits all.
You got to find what works for you.
Pick and choose the elements that fit your team and your project.
Like building your own agile toolkit.
Companies like Spotify, Amazon, Tesla, they're all using hybrid models.
They're all about innovation and adaptation.
They're not afraid to experiment.
Or to blend different frameworks to meet their needs.
It's about finding what truly works, not rigidly sticking to one dogma.
Make it your own.
And that's what makes Agile so powerful. It's a set of principles, not rules.
We've gone from Scrum to Kanban, from XP to Lean.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We've seen how SAFe brings order to complexity, how Crystal offers adaptability.
We've looked at DSDM with its user focus and FDD with its feature-driven approach.
And finally, we landed on those exciting hybrid approaches.
Quite the journey
It's amazing to see how these frameworks are being used
by some of the biggest companies out there.
to create incredible products and services.
But this is just the beginning.
There's so much more to explore.
Each framework has its own nuances and intricacies.
Before we dive deeper, what are some key takeaways that have stood out to you?
Across all these frameworks, there are some fundamental principles. First, iterative development. Break down those big tasks into smaller chunks.
Deliver value incrementally,
Then collaboration and communication.
both within the team and with the customer.
And finally, continuous improvement.
Always be learning, always be optimizing.
It's a mindset,
Agile is a mindset.
a way of approaching work and problem solving.
It's about flexibility, but it still provides structure and guidance.
It's not about chaos, it's about having a framework that supports agility.
Finding that balance between structure and flexibility.
It's a tricky balance, but so rewarding when you get it right.
I can't wait to see how these principles are applied in the real world.
We've got some amazing case studies coming up.
Real world examples of how these concepts are being used to achieve incredible things.
But first,
We need a little break to let all this information sink in,
stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive into Agile frameworks.
where we'll explore those inspiring case studies. Welcome back, everyone.
Ready for some real-world Agile?
Last time we laid out all the frameworks. Now I want to see them in action.
Let's do it. Let's jump into some case studies. See how these concepts are being used to create amazing things.
All right, who are we starting with?
How about
Spotify.
they've practically become synonymous with Agile innovation.
They're always pushing the boundaries.
Their Spotify model is a prime example of a hybrid approach, blending elements of Scrum, Kanban, and Lean.
They've created their own agile recipe.
One of the key ingredients is their structure of squads. These are small, cross-functional teams,
Each one focused on a specific feature or area of the product,
like having a bunch of mini startups.
all working together under the Spotify umbrella
Exactly. Each squad has a lot of freedom.
to figure out how to best achieve their goals.
A high degree of autonomy fosters creativity and innovation. And these squads are grouped into larger units called
Tribes
which provide some loose coordination.
across related areas of the product.
And you've got chapters and guilds too. These are cross-functional groups focused on knowledge sharing and community building,
So it's like this intricate web of interconnected teams
all working towards a common goal.
with the flexibility to adapt and innovate along the way.
You got it. And what makes their model so effective is the emphasis on trust and transparency.
They trust their teams to figure it out.
Empower them to experiment, to fail fast, and learn from those mistakes.
It's okay to take risks, knowing that failure is just a stepping stone.
That's a core principle of Agile.
And it's clearly working for Spotify.
They disrupted the music industry.
Created a product millions of people love.
Agile is woven into their company culture.
Very impressive.
Okay, let's move on to another giant,
Who's next?
Amazon.
Oh yeah, Amazon. They've been doing Agile for a long time.
They really embrace that two-pizza team concept.
The two pizza team rule, right?
Jeff Bezos famously believed teams should be small enough to be fed by 2 pizzas.
I love that. Never thought about team size in terms of pizza consumption.
It's brilliantly simple, though. Smaller teams are more agile, more communicative, more productive.
Less overhead, decisions can be made quickly.
Everyone's more invested in the outcome.
It's like the difference between steering a cruise ship and a speedboat.
Exactly. Amazon has taken this concept to heart.
Allowed them to launch new products and services at an incredible pace.
They're also big believers in continuous deployment,
Continuous deployment. Remind me what that is again.
constantly releasing new code into production, sometimes multiple times a day. They get feedback quickly, iterate rapidly,
Always tweaking and improving.
staying ahead of the competition,
That's the beauty of Agile.
embracing change, learning from feedback.
Never being satisfied with the status quo.
From a music streaming giant to an e-commerce behemoth.
Now let's talk about a car company, Tesla. How does a car company, with all its physical processes, embrace Agile?
They've adopted a hybrid Agile approach too, blending Scrum, Kanban, and Lean.
But what sets them apart?
Their focus on vertical integration. They design and manufacture almost all their own components. Batteries, software, self-driving systems.
That's a lot of control.
Gives them remarkable control over the product development process.
I see where the agility comes in.
They can make changes quickly.
Don't have to rely on external suppliers.
It's like they're running their own Agile ecosystem.
Makes them super adaptable.
Constantly pushing out software updates to their cars, improving performance, adding features.
It's like their cars are giant rolling software platform.
Constantly evolving and improving.
That's pretty amazing.
Agile principles being applied to a traditionally physical industry.
It's not just about software.
It's a mindset.
These case studies have been really insightful.
Seeing Agile in action at Spotify, Amazon, Tesla.
Power of Agile to transform industries.
No one-size-fits-all solution.
Right. It's about understanding the principles and applying them to your specific context.
Each company has a unique approach.
But they all share that common thread.
Embracing change, iterating quickly, focusing on customer value.
Not about blindly following a framework.
It's about understanding the why.
And adapting it to fit your own needs and goals.
Which brings us to a really interesting question.
Okay, hit me.
What if we took these Agile principles and applied them to our own lives?
Agile for life.
Think about it. We're all constantly facing change,
Trying to achieve goals.
figuring out what brings us happiness and fulfillment. What if we approach these challenges with an Agile mindset?
Flexibility, iteration, continuous improvement.
Instead of those huge New Year's resolutions we always abandon, what if we broke them down into smaller steps?
Experimented with different approaches, got feedback. Like Agile sprints, but for our personal goals.
Exactly. Make small incremental progress over time.
Instead of trying to do everything at once.
And when we hit setbacks, which we all do, we view them as opportunities to learn and adapt.
Like those retrospectives.
Figure out what went wrong, adjust for the next iteration.
What about embracing the journey?
Acknowledging we don't have all the answers up front.
Being open to changing course as we learn and grow.
More forgiving than trying to be perfect from the start.
I like that.
And don't forget about the customer focus element.
In this case, we're the customer.
Exactly. What are your values, your passions?
What kind of life do you want to create?
Agile encourages you to define your own vision of success.
Be intentional. Make choices that align with what truly matters.
Just like in software development, feedback is crucial for personal growth.
You gotta check in with ourselves, reflect.
Are we moving towards our goals? Are we happy with the direction?
Be mindful, make conscious choices.
Instead of drifting along on autopilot.
I can see how this Agile approach could be applied to so many areas of life.
Career decisions, for example. Instead of just dreaming about a different job.
Take an Agile approach.
Identify the skills you need, network, maybe take on a side project.
Take action, experiment.
Create opportunities, take ownership of your own growth.
Let's take this Agile for life concept even further. Remember that MVP concept?
Minimum viable product.
Release a basic version to get feedback and iterate quickly.
How could we apply that to our personal goals?
Good question.
Let's say you want to write a novel. Instead of waiting for the perfect manuscript, share a few chapters with friends, get feedback, make revisions.
Gradually build towards your goal.
Get started, even if it's not perfect.
Use feedback to improve along the way.
Takes the pressure off, allows you to embrace the process.
Who knows, maybe that MVP turns into something amazing.
It's all about embracing imperfection.
Learning from feedback, iterating towards our goals. This whole conversation has been so eye-opening.
From Agile frameworks to Agile for life.
Feeling very inspired.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
Hope our listeners are feeling empowered to embrace these principles.
Remember, Agile is not just for software developers.
It's a mindset.
A set of values that can help us navigate life's complexities.
With more flexibility, resilience, and intention.
Embrace the iterative process. Be open to feedback.
Never stop learning and growing.
If you're interested in learning more,
check out the show notes for links to articles, books, and other resources.
Until next time,
keep being agile.
Keep experimenting.
And keep striving to become the best version of yourself. Welcome back, Agile Adventurers. Last time, we left off with this idea, Agile for life.
Taking those Agile principles that are transforming businesses
and applying them to our own lives.
It might sound a bit out there.
I'll admit, I was skeptical at first.
But when you really think about it, the core principles of Agile, adaptability, iteration, customer focus,
and continuous improvement,
they're surprisingly relevant to how we navigate life.
Life is all about adapting to change, right? Setting goals.
Trying to figure out what truly matters to us.
So how does this Agile for life thing actually work?
Think about those New Year's resolutions we made.
The ones we abandoned by February.
Those huge, overwhelming goals.
We try to change everything at once.
Instead of doing that, what if we took an Agile approach?
Break them down into smaller steps.
Experiment with different approaches, get feedback.
Correct. Along the way, it's like those 2-week sprints, but for our personal goals.
Focus on making small, incremental progress over time.
And I'm guessing setbacks are part of the process.
Just like in software development.
Life throws you curveballs.
But instead of getting discouraged,
yeah,
we can view them as opportunities to learn and adapt. Hold a retrospective with yourself. Figure out what went wrong.
Adjust our approach for the next iteration. So it's not about being perfect right away.
It's about embracing the journey,
Being open to change as we learn and grow.
much more forgiving than trying to have all the answers up front.
And what about that customer focus element?
In this case, you are the customer. What are your values? What are your passions?
What kind of life do you want to create?
Agile encourages you to define your own vision of success.
So it's about being intentional, making choices that align with what truly matters.
Exactly. Feedback is crucial for personal growth, just like in software development.
We need to be checking in with ourselves,
Reflecting on what's working, what's not.
making adjustments as needed,
Are we moving towards our goals? Are we happy with the direction we're heading in?
being mindful, making conscious choices, not just on autopilot.
And this agile approach can be applied to so many areas.
Like what?
Think about career decisions.
Feeling stuck in a rut.
Instead of just daydreaming about a different job,
Take an agile approach.
identify the skills you need, network with people, maybe take on a side project,
Take action. Experiment.
create those opportunities, take ownership of your own growth. How about taking it even? Remember the minimum viable product concept.
The MVP. Releasing a basic version to get feedback.
How can we apply that to our personal goals? Let's say you want to write a novel. Instead of waiting for the perfect manuscript,
Which could take forever.
share a few chapters with friends, get feedback, make revisions,
Gradually build towards that final goal.
get started, even if it's not perfect. Use feedback to improve.
Takes the pressure off, lets you enjoy the process.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe that MVP turns into something amazing.
That'd be incredible.
It's all about embracing imperfection, learning from feedback, iterating towards our goals.
I gotta say, this whole conversation has been so eye-opening.
From agile frameworks to agile for life.
It's been quite a journey.
I'm feeling pretty inspired.
Me too. This agile mindset is so powerful.
It can really transform the way we approach not just work, but life itself.
Absolutely. Agile is not just for software developers.
It's a set of values that can help us navigate life's complexities.
With more flexibility, resilience, and tension.
Embrace the iterative process, be open to feedback, never stop learning and growing.
Those are some wise words to live by.
And if you're eager to dive deeper into the world of Agile,
Check out the show notes
we've got links to articles, books, and other resources.
so you can continue your Agile journey
Until next time, keep being agile, keep experimenting.
and keep striving to become the best version of yourselves.
This is The Deep Dive, signing off.
See you on the next deep dive, everyone.